All right, fellow romantasy lovers, I've been waiting to talk about this one because it completely took my weekend. The epic romantasy finale, Dawn of Chaos and Fury by Melissa K. Rorick, is finally here. And if you're into anything Book Talk is raving about right now, you need this. This is the fourth and final book in the Legacy series, a dark romantasy packed with fae, dragons, shifters, vampires, witches, meddling gods, you name it. And what I love about this world is that it's not your typical medieval fantasy backdrop. Think high fantasy meets modern tech. Magic everywhere, but people are still texting, driving, dating, using computers. It gives big Crescent City vibes in the best way. And honestly, I got so pulled into the emotional roller coaster. The heroine is dealing with depression and anxiety, and the way the story handles her mental health made the stakes feel so real. Plus, the tropes. Fated mates, morally gray chaos, one bed, touch her and die. It's basically a Book Talk bingo card of everything we love. Now, if you haven't read the series yet, this is the series finale, so don't start here. But the good news, all 4 books are out now, and they make such a great gift for that friend who is constantly reading romantasy and keeping up with every online book trend. Dawn of Chaos and Fury is on sale now, available for the first time as a Kensington trade paperback and ebook. So grab your copy and dive into the chaos. You can find Dawn of Chaos and Fury by Melissa K. Rorick wherever books are sold in print and in ebook.
With the holidays right around the corner, it's time for me to start planning all the festive meals and treats for the season. Frozen Washington red raspberries are the ultimate holiday shortcut to flavor, as they are picked at peak ripeness and frozen within hours to lock in their bright, sweet, tart taste. I love raspberries in my desserts, and boy does this cran raspberry pecan tart sound delicious. Grown by passionate farmers in Washington state, they're frozen with care to ensure top quality and food safety, and it always feels good to support local American farmers. And here's the best part. They're always in season. When you buy American-grown frozen raspberries, you're getting fresh off the field flavor all year long. You can find them at Costco, Kroger, Meijer, and Winco Foods. Make sure to look for product in the U.S. on the bag. Check out True Fruit Mars Hyper Chilled Chocolate-Covered Raspberries and Smucker's Raspberry Jam. Want to learn more details on where to find American frozen red raspberries plus recipe ideas and cooking tips? Head to redraz.org. That's redrazz.org. You'll find participating retailers as an inspiration for every meal, plus info on how these berries go from farm to freezer with quality you can taste. Welcome to our mini-series, The 8 Days of Dating Optimism, your pre-New Year reboot that helps you rebuild hope and confidence for finding love in the new year. Enjoy! You know that moment when dating starts to feel like another spreadsheet to manage? The swiping, the scheduling, the small talk, it can suck the joy right out of meeting new people. But what if the problem isn't dating itself? It's the way that we're approaching it. In day 3 of our 8 days of dating optimism, we're talking about how making dating fun again can completely transform your experience. In this episode that originally aired in 2021, we're chatting with positive psychology coach and play expert Jeff Harry, who shows us what happens when you bring play back into the dating process. I remember listening to the episode right before I met my now husband, and it completely changed how I showed up for that date. Before, I had been falling a bit victim to getting way too deep on the first date, thinking that it would be the best way to evaluate partners. But the truth is that intimacy hadn't been earned yet. Going into a date just trying to meet a new person, not thinking about the outcome, and remembering to have fun served me so much better, and hope this is a good reset for you too. We get into how shared experiences form deeper connections, why being playful doesn't mean being surface level, and how anyone, yes, even the overthinkers, can tap into a playful mindset at a level that actually feels comfortable. If you've ever found yourself saying dating sucks or treating it like another job, this episode is your reminder that joy, curiosity, and playfulness might be the missing ingredients you've been overlooking. Make sure to subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen so you instantly get access to the next episode in this series. And while you're there, please leave us a 5-star review because it helps so much. It would be the best holiday gift you could give us. Enjoy!
dating should be fun, right? And sometimes we forget that dating should be fun. We treat it like a job. We treat it like a chore. We treat it like our number one enemy, when dating is about finding someone that you love spending time with. Why should it feel like a chore? So our guest today is here to help us bring playfulness back to dating. And before we get to what playfulness means, because I'm sure there are lots of different definitions of play, I just want to introduce our guest of honor. His name is Jeff Harry. He's 42 years old, currently lives in Chicago. He's been there for the past year and a half during COVID, obviously like everyone else who's just been somewhere else during COVID, but he still has a place in Oakland. Look at you with your pied-à-terre. Originally from the suburbs of Chicago, he's pretty single and he has been taking a dating sabbatical. He's an international speaker, positive psychology coach, and founder of Rediscover Your Play, where he shows individuals and organizations how to tap into their true selves, to feel their happiest and most fulfilled, all by playing. Julie, when I say the word play, what do you think of?
I think of play parties. So our mind is in the gutter. Our listeners know Louise, who's kind of like our events extraordinaire, and her and Jeff know each other from the play world. And literally every time she says it to UA and I, our mind like reverts back, think about like play parties, like sex parties that we've been to. But that being said, but you guys have a much more PG rated definition of play. And I think it's interesting because play parties, the whole idea is to get out of your comfort zone. Even though it's sexually, it still is a form of play. So it makes sense. But we know that you primarily work with like businesses, and that's kind of the people you think of that are like stiff and need to let loose and like play.
Right.
But we find it in daters. And I'm curious like what your definition of play is and how you see it coming into dating.
Sure. So I define play as any joyful act where you are fully present in the moment, where there is no purpose, there is no result. You don't have anxiety about the future. You don't have regrets about the past. You're just like fully in flow, like you're fully in the zone. And when you're doing that, I guess when you're dating it's the same feeling where you're like, you forget about time. It's where you could be talking to someone for 3 hours and you're like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. And because you're just in that mode, right? Or you're on a date and like 4 hours have passed. So, when you're really in that flow and you really like feel that connection with somebody, that's when I truly feel people are at play.
And we know you're currently taking a dating sabbatical while you're at your pied-à-terre in Chicago. But when you are in the dating scene, how have you been able to integrate play into dating?
Yeah, so I hate dates, like average dates. I'd rather it be amazing or horrible, because if at least it's horrible, it's hilarious. And then I have a story afterwards. But when it's just meh and you don't really know, like, should I go on the date again or not? And you're like, oh gosh, like, enough mad dates. So like, I want something super unique. So even twice I did this. I learned this from Love Actually, where I took a date where instead of us going to the movie theaters, we went to SFO International Airport. We went to the international terminal. We got food and we got flowers. And we just watched people get greeted at the international airport. And when we felt compelled, we would give out flowers to certain people. And we would just come up with stories for people and just be like, I wonder who they're waiting for. And it was just like, it was a different experience. So like, I'm all about that. One time I went randomly horseback riding with someone. I had never even met them before, but I'm like trying to have play experiences, because Plato didn't say this quote, but you really do learn more about a person in an hour of play than a year's worth of conversation. So why not have like experiences to actually learn about that person instead of just people talking about what they like to do? Why don't you just show what you like to do? Because that, I feel, speaks more volume.
I love this idea of the airport. Like, was this like an early date or were you guys dating for a while? I need more details.
This is an early date. Yeah, I took 2 different people on that date. It was super interesting.
SFO staff knows Jeff on a regular basis. He's like a regular at the
Right, it's
airport.
just like,
They're like, he is again on his first date.
there it is again. Is he picking somebody up? Why does he have food? Why does he have a whole platter?
So what was your date's reaction when you're like, hey, we're going to SFO?
Well, she like knew who I was. So she was like, yeah, that sounds super fun. So, and that's the other process of it, right? If you ask somebody to go on this like ridiculous date and they say no, that's a good thing because then you're filtering out who's down and who's not down to do this, right? Like imagine if someone that like loves to work at soup kitchens and it was just like, my first date's going to be at a soup kitchen. So even if it doesn't go well, I know that I have another person that's doing work alongside me. Like you would just experience something brand new with that person. So I'm all about doing that.
I mean, personally for me, like someone that has playful qualities is such a turn on. Like all like my past like exes, like definitely would describe them as playful. Like that's something that comes to mind. And I might not have done like necessarily like playful activities as much, but there's something about their demeanor that was very playful. Like my most serious ex like broke into song from Fiddler on the Roof like on our first date because and then like from then we had like a shared, you know, bond over this movie. And my other ex like had this, it was just like this ridiculous thing that he like had like stuffed bears that he was obsessed with. And he like started naming my pillows that like resembled bears. And we had like this whole like secret like love story between my pillows and his bears. And I know that sounds
oh my God.
so freaking ridiculous.
No, that sounds
But it was so cute. And like when you like someone, that shit's adorable. And I know it sounds super weird.
No, it's perfect, right? Because why is it perfect? Because it's weird, it's strange, it's nerdy. It's everything that we actually are, right? I think a lot of times we have, as Chris Rock says, like our representative for the first date. And it's like, hello, this is me and this is what I do for a living. You're like, I don't want to meet that person. Adults are boring. Adults are so boring, not because they're actually boring, but because we pretend to be normal when none of us are normal. We're all super weird. So why not lead with the weird?
Just to be clear, the bears did not come out on the first date. It was probably like 2-3 months in. But yes, it's. I agree with you.
I mean, no, but I'm all about that. You know, it's just, you know, I think I shared you on this one TikTok video of someone that was like on one of their first dates. The guy asked his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah, soon-to-be ex-girlfriend. Hello, whoops. No, but so the date idea was he goes, okay, pick a number between 1 and 10, and she was like 7 or something, and then he goes, all right, pick a number between 1 and 100, and she's like 94, and then he's like, all right, let's go, and she's like, where are we going? And they went to, I think, like a Goodwill or a Salvation Army, and then it was for $7.94. She dressed him, and then he dressed her, and then they went to some really fancy restaurant. Now, obviously, some people are like, I would never do that. But it's just like, if you pick your way of playing, and if the person is down to do it, then you're going to learn a ton about them right there. And then again, just to redefine, like play is any joyful act where you forget about time, right? So it can be anything can be play. There's not just certain ways in which this is play and this is not play. It's all up to you how you define that. If that's y'all just reading books at the library, sweet, nerd out. Like, do you, boo-boo.
I think it's like it forms a connection though, because it's like an inside joke. It's like inside, you know, activity that you're not doing with every last date. So I love it.
Okay, so I'm very intimidated by this. I enjoy play in a relationship, but in dating, it's a little hard. One, because I'm lazy. I just feel like, just go to a bar, go to a restaurant. It's just easier. And two, sometimes I feel like when the play someone creates is not suited for me, it becomes daunting.
Oh,
so
I agree.
Maybe you can give some advice around how people can create play that's customized for their dates.
Right. So first off, I hate forced play. So if someone's like, let's play, and you're like, I have 30 minutes. I don't really care. I don't really want, you know, I think it's part of the discussion, right? Like when you are interviewing the person before you meet them, you just start talking about like things that you find really fun and you try to find what like connects to both of you. Part of the reason why I mentioned like go weird and be like nerdy is because you also are trying to filter people out, right? You know, when I've been at bars or like dance clubs or whatever it would have you, you see the same person there, the same CrossFit guy named Chad, who like, does finance. You're like, we've made that guy. We know that guy. I don't want more of that guy. And how do you like filter that out? It's through play. It's also about even how you go about meeting people. Because if we're always like going to certain places and that's where we're supposed to meet, instead of being like, let me just do something fun, right? Let me just go to this woo-woo camp or this self-improvement camp. I've met more people that are closer to my shared values when I go to something like that than me going to like a bar or Whole Foods at the takeout line and just hanging out there, even though SF Chronicle says that's the place to be.
I think also a lot of times it's just organic. It's honing in on those playful muscles. Like, I'm pretty sure my ex wasn't like planning to sing Fiddler on the Roof. Like, it just happened to come in. And
Right.
I think that's like really the key to it, because I agree, like if it feels too forced, then it feels like contrived, and that's not really play at the end of the day.
No, everything is, even conversation is like, I was saying it in the article I just wrote, you inspired it, by the way. So it's like improv, where it's like you're doing a yes and with people whenever you have a conversation with them. You start off and you're like, hello, what are you doing? What is it? And you start joking around about something that you appreciate about each other, and you're yes anding each other. And only what happens when it doesn't feel right is when someone either negates it or it just doesn't vibe. So this is all about active listening, and this is all about like reflecting back what you've heard. And all of that is part of the play. I'm not just saying, Yue, like, hey, you got to get out there and go to LA's international terminal tomorrow.
That's going to be the new date hotspot.
And you may or may not show up. I just have to wait.
Right. We start off small. It could even be the questions that you ask someone, because usually we ask, what do you do for a living? I think that's a horrible question. I always ask, when was the last adventure you were on? What mischief are you causing in the world? And people are like, mischief? What about mischief? And then some people are, let me tell you about my mischief. So like you don't know, but just even the interesting taking a risk and like doing that 20 seconds of courage, like, and trying out something that you're like, oh, I want to do this, but I'm kind of nerve-sighted. I'm both nervous and excited about this. Let me try this. Is a way in which you can you can come up with something, you can co-create with this other person.
Yeah, like I had a conversation the other day where it turned into like the guy like hooked me with his photos of his corgi, but it turned out he didn't actually have a corgi, so he was like, I corgi fished you, and then it like became this joke, and he like sent me a cat photo the other day, and I'm like, now you're catfishing me, and it like, I think it's because it's like fed off of each other, but if one person wasn't into the joke, it would have just died at that point. It would have become like a thing.
It's about creating these inside jokes, but I can also see, so here's the question. Do you think play is successful with all personalities, or do you think it has to be specific personalities? Because I'll give you as an example, Jeff. When you came on the Zoom and you showed up, for people who can't see, he's got a clip-on bow tie that's made out of cardboard or plastic.
Is that Legos?
Lego.
Immediately, I turned on my playful side because I was like, yes, this guy is here to have a good time. So I feel like you brought that out of me, but is it because I already have that kind of personality where the playfulness may be dormant and it just needs to be like stimulated? Or do you think that everybody has that inside of them?
Oh, everyone has it, but I feel everyone has it in a different way, right? Not everyone is like extrovert with their play. Some people are very introverted. See, I also talk about how play is the opposite of perfection. And perfection is rooted in shame and ego and not looking stupid and peer pressure, right? Like it's all the things from high school that we hated the most. But play is experimentation. It's curiosity. And that's what I feel like is a better or just a really more enjoyable way to approach dating or your whole life, because then it's just like you're able to let go of expectations. Expectations are the thief of joy, and adults get so fixed on results. And that was why 2020 was such a tough year for so many people, because on top of all the loss and the pain, also they had all these dreams, December 31st, 2019, of what was going to happen. I'm going to get married. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to start my business. And then all those things didn't happen, right? And when we get fixated so much on that result, it destroys the present. It destroys the process. And how many times have you been on a date and you're like, all right, this person is shorter than me. What are our babies going to look like? Oh my gosh. And gonna, how is he gonna look when he's 80? And you're just like, whoa, let's just like be present with what's happening now and just see what's happening and stay in the moment and stay navigating like that uncertainty and be comfortable in that uncertainty instead of being like, I need to know the right answer, because there is no right answer. It's different for everybody.
I think you hit the nail on the head of why play has been sucked out of dating, especially with apps where there's so many prospects. People are, one, trying to like cut through the clutter and also not get hurt.
Right.
So they turn to the daterview, which is basically just like, a bad interview where someone's just pressing you for questions and, asking you why your last relationship didn't work out or where you want to be in 5 years. And that's a shitty date. It's not fun. Like, core of that approach is to get information. But you said something interesting earlier that you could actually learn more from an hour of play. Like, how do you get people to like rewire their brain on that?
Well, you have to let go of the result. That's the biggest one. You have to be like, all right, what is the purpose of me being here? Is the purpose of me to see if this person checks off all the boxes? Or is the purpose of me being here to see if I am enjoying myself? Like, am I having fun here? Like, do I trust this person to go and to escape from the room and us try to get out together? Like there's certain things that you can actually learn. It's funny that we focus so much on words, right? And words is what, 10% of communication? Tone is like 40%, body language is around 50%. We're so focused on the wrong thing. We actually think that if I go on more apps and I interview more people, just logically, I will eventually find the right person because I've crossed all these other people out. Maybe you will, or maybe you won't, but is it fun? I'm all about like, why don't you just do things that are fun? And then if someone happens to be there that connects with you, sweet. But like, I'm trying to live my life. And then if someone amazing happens to show up, then that's great. But I think when we're coming from a place of lack, right? And we're just like, oh my gosh, I need to find this person. And this person is going to fulfill my soul, and fill the gap that's in my heart. Like, man, that's a lot of pressure on you as well as the other person. And then you're going to have that first date. And the first thing you're thinking about is like, so, is it going to be a year before we get married? Like, whoa, man, that's a lot, like he's a redhead. Will I want to have his baby? Do I want redhead babies? Like
we haven't even had a drink yet.
I get a little concerned with when people use the word fun too much. It gets thrown around. How was the date? It was fun. How was the event? It was fun. But was it actually fun? It probably wasn't. It was probably fine, but it wasn't fun.
It was fine.
So they're using the wrong F word. But here's a distinction I want to make, because I can also see people thinking that play is part of entertaining someone, and that puts a lot of pressure on you. My role here is to entertain my date, but it's not really about that. So an example is my friend has a 6-year-old, and during COVID, school has been virtual. So her 6-year-old gets on Zoom and she says, she's like, I shit you not, for an hour, she's just staring at the screen with all her classmates and they're playing without saying a word to each other. All they're doing is like, they bring out their toys and they make eye contact and they do body language or whatever. That's their idea of play. She's like, not one word is spoken. That was mind blowing for me, because I think as adults, we always assume that we need to entertain with our words and that there can't be silence. We got to keep it going. When so much of play, not entertaining, play should be about the nonverbal. So maybe, Jeff, you can give us some advice on how to shift that mindset.
Yeah. So I think the thing that is worth exploring is when you have a thought that you think, ooh, that's really exciting, but that also makes me really nervous, or that person's going to think I'm weird. Do it. Do that thing. Do that thing. And here's the reason why, because maybe it is, let's just talk about like the silence thing. Let's say it's just like, hey, I want our first date. I love to read. Oh, you love to read? Let's just go hang out in the park and we'll read right next to each other. That's the play. That's the play. That's fine. Like, again, it's open because you're just you're testing, you're experimenting, you're trying things out. And I think a lot of times we actually want to entertain the person because we want them to like us, even if we don't like them. Right. Even if we don't like them, we're like, well, I want this date to go well because I wanted some good reviews on Uber or Lyft. I don't understand why we had like a dating Uber. But like, so yeah, Julie and I were talking about it, how we get really good at interviewing people. Like, we get really good at asking really good questions. And also, I'm really good at being vulnerable. So at the end of the date, the person is like, man, this went really well. And man, Jeff shared a lot. He was quite vulnerable. It's like, nah, I share that with everybody. Like, that's just my threshold of vulnerability is just more than most people. So I think what I recommend doing is, again, play is like a dance. It's an exchange, and you should be showing them what your type of play is. What your type of interest is, so that you don't feel like you're entertaining them, but you're like, hey, I'm doing my thing. Oh, you're doing your thing. Oh, here's what I love about my thing. Oh, I love that. Oh, what are you doing? Just like the kids do, where you're just like kind of curious and then you go back to your thing. So then you're staying within yourself and you're not trying. The reason why dating is so hard and exhausting and feels like work is because we're trying too hard. We're trying to be somebody else. We're always playing a role, but why not play a role that we actually want to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best dates are when it just feels like two friends that are hanging out and it's not like a formal thing. Those have been by far the best dates I've ever had. You know what's interesting though is I can hear people saying, like our audience being like, but don't we need to get like deep? Don't we need to like share our life's like goals and ambitions and all the stuff that isn't really considered play, but more like, you know, the deep talk? We actually ran a super interesting dating experiment a while ago. It was a Love is Blind experiment off of the TV show. And UA and I, along with all of our listeners, we were convinced that one of the guy, Ryan, was going to pick this one woman, Taylor, like, cause they had like this spiritual connection. They bonded. Yeah. Like all this, like they kept talking about like in the check-ins, like how deep they were bonding. So we all thought like across the board, he was going to pick her. And then he ended up picking another girl, Lacey, because she was fun. That was his like exact words. But that being said, it kind of petered out and maybe Taylor actually would have been the better long-term partner. Like, how do you balance both? And like, what is your thoughts about, you know, going deep and also being playful? Does it have to be one or the other?
No, I mean, play can be deep too. Like I do this on Clubhouse all the time. I do like introspective play where we ask like really hard questions. Like, all right, this is the Tombstone play game. Here lies Jeff, best remembered for embracing play, being his nerdy self and loving Cobra Kai, you know, and like that is like a sentence that everyone then has to answer on Clubhouse. So like there are ways in which you can ask really interesting questions. What about the 36 questions that make you fall in love? You could ask one of those questions on one of your first dates. Again, it's about where do you want to go? Do you want to get deep right now? Let's go deep right now. Let's pick one question out of the 36 questions, or my friend Jan, who has these ask deep question cards, and we pick one and we answer that. Like that can all be it. Or you can just be like, okay, tell me your worst dating experience. And then as y'all are sharing that together, you know, all of a sudden you start to peel the layers off and you're like, oh, wow. That's real. And then maybe you feel comfortable enough to ask then, why do you break up with your last person? Or one of those like really hard questions that was in the dateable game show that was like,
oh, the V card. Everybody was so vulnerable, right? Everyone was kept passing out their V cards. Hey, this is just a side conversation, but it seems like you have a lot of fun on dates. You're very playful. Why are you taking a dating sabbatical? I would assume that you just love dating. You just be out there dating night and day.
Now here comes the hard-hitting questions.
Whoa, night and day.
Jeff doesn't work. He just goes on dates 24/7.
Right. That's just what I do. Hello, everybody. No, the reason, I mean, there's also another reason why I'm in Chicago. So I came to Chicago originally, partly because of COVID, but also because my nephew, I was trying to help him graduate from high school. So he moved in with me and I helped him get into college. So I moved back, October of 2019. But also a person that I was dating lived in Chicago and I was living in Oakland. So I spent the last year and a half with her and like I got really close to her and her kids and it was amazing. And then it ended up not working out. So like I'm still here in Chicago and planning to head back. But like I went all in to be like, I got to see this through, and I put my heart and soul in it and I got like super hurt and I'm sure she did as well. But, I feel happy that I at least explored it and took the full risk. Right. And I think that lesson can be learned in the dating world is I can't believe I'm quoting quoting We Bought a Zoo, but it's just like, the movie with Matt Damon, by the way. 20 seconds of insane courage. Like all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage, 20 seconds of sheer bravery, and like everything can change. And I feel like at every moment you have that. And one thing that my friend Angie Cole taught me that I thought was really powerful and helped me in my relationship, Angie, and her boyfriend have this rule about, it's called open hand, not open marriage, not open relationship, but open hand. It goes off of the analogy that like you have this open hand and a bird can land on it at any time. Like a relationship, it can fly away at any time. And that is what a relationship is. Every day you have to decide, like, do I want to stay here or not? Do I want to love this person again today? Almost like you're getting remarried each and every day. And she found that's much more powerful than when we're like, you can't leave, because then it seems like a trap for both people. So like, I just try to operate off that. And like, I go all in, I get my heart broken, but like, at least I enjoyed the ride, right? And I feel like that is the thing we're so scared about. We're so scared to get hurt, but also that's where all the joy and the fulfillment and the play is. It's in that same deep end of the pool where you also might get hurt.
You know what I find so fascinating about you is that like you have the now he's scared. He's like, where is this going?
The bow ties off.
Let's go deep. I'm all about going deep.
That is kind of what I'm saying though, is I feel like you have this like persona that's like this fun play guy, right? Like that's like your whole MO. You have the Lego bow tie and all that, but you also have this deep side. Like I remember when you shared the story about like going back to like help your nephew get through high school. Like that's like a very serious side. And I guess my question for you is like, how can people kind of like balance the two? And like, can people ever come off as just being like too playful and get like not taken seriously and kind of miscategorized? Has that ever happened to you?
I mean, yes. I mean, I run stuff for like Fortune 500 companies, and all the time they're like, who in the world is this ridiculous dude? But as soon as I help create like a psychologically safe like workplace for their staff, and they're like taking risks, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, this super weird dude actually is helpful. So I think a lot of times, again, we're trying to be like, what is the right way? Can I be more normal? And Viola Davis says this all the time, like you either claim who you are or you end up chasing your worth for the rest of your life. And how many people do you know chasing their worth, like constantly looking for validation and being like, is this the right way to date? Should I be on Hinge? Should I be on Tinder? Should I be on Coffee Meets Bagel? Should I be? And it's just like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like, and what I mean by that is, it's just like the Thigh Master. When someone's like, I lost all my weight on the Thigh Master. And you're like, it wasn't the Thigh Master. It wasn't Tybo or your paleo diet. You just decided now I'm going to lose weight and you're attributing it to this. And it's the same thing with like dating apps. Is dating apps the right way or not the right way? Who knows? It's up to you. There's no right way, right? Like you could go to woo-woo camps and meet someone. You could be on Hinge and meet someone. You could go to a bar and meet someone. You could just hang out at Whole Foods every day at the same time
and meet someone
looking for
Absolutely.
that. Like,
you forgot the airport.
Right. So play with it, right? And stop looking for the right answer, as there is none. The right answer is the one where it's just like, as my friend Eduardo always says, you do you, boo-boo. Like, like own you, because the more you are yourself, right? And I hate faux authenticity. I hate how people use the word authentic all the time. Just be yourself. What does that even mean, right? But it's just like, just be what you are scared to be, which is you. Put it out in the world. You might get rejected, but also you might be like putting out to the world so someone else that sees and resonates with your nerdiness is like, yo, I need to hang out with that person.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners. When it comes to holiday gifting, I want to give things that people really love. Beautiful, timeless pieces they'll wear for years. That's why I'm going with Quince. From Mongolian cashmere sweaters to Italian wool coats, everything is premium quality at a price that actually makes sense. Quince truly has something for everyone too. I'm obsessed with their cashmere sweaters, so much that I own 3 of them. They are so soft and luxurious, and they never pill. It feels like they should cost over $200, but they are only $50. What a steal. My whole wardrobe at this point is pretty much Quince. The craftsmanship shows in every detail, the stitching, the fit, the drape. It's elevated, timeless, and made to wear on repeat. I have my eye on their jewelry, pajamas, and robes that are definitely making it on my gift list. I may just need to buy the stainless steel bracelet Apple Watch band for myself too. Find gifts so good you'll want to keep them with Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
This holiday season, comfort is knowing your home is filled with natural, sustainable comfort for a healthier environment for me and my family. As the holidays fill up with gatherings, travel, and to-do lists, Avocado Green mattress products can transform your home into a peaceful, grounding retreat made with certified organic and sustainably sourced materials. From breathable bedding to handcrafted mattresses, Avocado is all about true comfort, so you can rest, recharge, and wake up refreshed all season long. Have peace of mind that every product is thoughtfully made with the planet in mind, so you can feel good about the comfort and quality you bring into your home. With Avocado, you can enjoy deeper rest, calmer mornings, and a healthier daily routine. And with financing options with Affirm, it's easier than ever to bring Avocado to your home. Prioritize rest and recharge with Avocado's organic comfort. Head to avocadogreenmattress.com today to create your natural oasis and save big during the holiday sale. Avocado, dream of better.
You may have heard about our new Finding Your Person coaching app, and we're excited to announce a special holiday promo for 20% off and that it's now on Android as well. If you're new here or haven't heard about it, we partnered with Studio.com to create an AI-powered app combined with our best-selling Finding Your Person program. After 10 years of doing Dateable, we kept hearing the same thing. I wish I had support in the moment when I'm actually dealing with this stuff. So now you have a dating coach in your pocket to use whenever you want. Using AI also allows this app to be 100% personalized to you based on exactly what you're going through. You'll get audio lessons from us, Dateable podcast recommendations, and even customized exercises we've created. There's even audio or written journaling where you'll get real-time feedback and encouragement and a coach you can talk to identify patterns and growth. The best part is that you can try it for 7 days, and if you're not happy, you can get your money back, no questions asked. Our goal is to help as many people as possible, and we're continuously blown away by how innovative this technology is. To get your 20% off, go to studio.com/dateable now until January 2nd. That's studio.com/dateable. No code required to claim the special holiday price. Enjoy.
So for someone who is putting themselves out there in a authentic, non-influencer way, and they're getting a hang of this whole playful dating, bringing it to their relationships, etc. I think another question people would have, though, is coming out of a date where we played, maybe we played for 8 hours. How can I tell if that was a good date versus I just created a really fun, playful environment? I can see myself going on a date with you, Jeff, and we hang out for 8 to 10 hours. We're playful. We're doing all this and all that. And I come out and I'm like, I think that was a bomb ass date. I think we're falling in love. And you could just be like, that's a Tuesday. You know? So how can people be more in touch with their feelings after the fact and really get to the core of was that a good date? Did we make a connection?
Well, did you enjoy the experience? Or did you enjoy the person? Did you connect with the person, or you just remember what do you remember afterwards as you're describing it to your friends? What is actually coming out? Are you talking about more about what you did, or are you talking about more about who the person is? You know, my best friend Dana, she still gets warm and fuzzy whenever she brings up her boyfriend. They've been dating for 5-7 years now. They get all that feeling right there. You know it. It's that same when you finish the date, you're like, fuck yeah, I want to go on another date. You don't wait 2 days. No, you're like, I want to talk to that person right now. I am missing you as we're leaving. Right? That's when, yes. And if you're like, oh, well, I don't know, it was kind of good, but maybe if you're persuading yourself, no, that's move on. You can move on.
Dead on, because I've heard people describe their dates and they lead with the activity.
Totally.
Oh, I went to mini golf. It was so fun. And it's but could you have gone to mini golf with anyone? And I think that is a telltale sign of is it the person person or is it the actual date? Because I think the best dates, you could literally be doing nothing. Like it almost doesn't matter where you go because it's just the personality that you're jiving with.
Yeah. And also, like, if you're like, okay, I don't know what playful activities I can do, right? Let's say you're just like, I don't play. There's a lot of people like I work with, like I had a lawyer client once that was like, I don't play ever.
Sounds like.
And I was like, well, what do you do? And she goes, well, I take people that hate each other and I get them to agree on one thing. And I was like, ooh, tell me more. And she was telling me, she was like, ooh, that's your play. That's how you play. So again, it's very broad. So here is a play experiment you can do with your friends to like actually identify ways in which you could play more and then maybe play more in dates. So you reach out to 3 to 5 of your closest friends. You can also do this on social media, but it's better to reach out and like talk to your friends. I know over the phone, it's scary. And so you ask them these 2 questions. And the first one is like, what value do I bring to your life? Like, what do I do for you? Like, why are we friends? Because I think a lot of times we forget what impact we have on people's lives, right? So that's the first one. And then the second one is, when have you seen me come most alive? And this is based off the Howard Thurman quote of like, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive. Because what the world needs is for more people to come alive, right? And another way of asking, when have you seen me come most alive, is when have you seen me most playful, most creative, most myself? So what value do I bring to your life? And when have you seen me come most alive? And when you get the answers back from 3 to 5 different people, drastically different answers, and you write them all down, you start to see all these patterns and you're like, oh wait, those are the ways I play. Oh, those are the ways I actually get really excited about life. Oh, those are the ways I actually impact people's lives. I didn't even remember that, or thank you for reminding me, right? And then when you write it all down, then you go back out to your same friends, you get a little tipsy, you have a little tipsy storm. I like to call it tipsy storm, right? Or you could even do this over Zoom, and you show them all the things that you've written down and all the patterns, and you brainstorm a bunch of adventures that you could do as friends, or adventures you could do with potential dates. But again, it's a playful activity to like rediscover.
Can we do it on each other, Julie?
Sure.
Let's do it. Jeff, you're going to moderate this. Everyone's going to witness.
Oh, I get to see it. Oh,
we're doing it real time. I love it.
You want me to do the asking first, or do you want to do the asking first?
You could do the asking first.
Okay. First question. What was the question again? Why are we friends? What value do I bring to your life, Julie?
Oh, you bring so much value. I don't even know where to start. But I mean, I think just a couple things come to mind. I think I always have fun when I'm with you. I always feel like you're a delight to be around. You care about the people in your life. You are funny. Like you'll always add some sort of wit to I know. You always just like basking in the glory right now. I think you're also a really great listener. I think there's a lot of value that you bring. So there's the value of when you engage and talk, but also how you're there for your friends, you're listening and really taking things in.
Okay, so that was all recorded, right? I'm just gonna...
this was the trick. I see now.
She's just gonna play that at night.
I'm gonna play that every morning as I brush my teeth. Forget my own affirmations. I just listen to Julie talk about me. Okay, great. So next question is, when do you see me come to life? Is that like right?
When did you see me most alive? Yeah, come to life.
By far when you're performing. Like when you did when we've done live shows, when we did the Most Dateable show, that was like your baby. And I feel like you came to life with that. So I think when you can show everyone those, like the witty comments, the funny piece. And even when we do this podcast, I definitely think you come to life.
Love it. Oh, okay. I'm going to write this down. Julie, your turn.
You don't need to write it down. It's recorded for everyone to hear.
That's very true.
But I guess, okay, we probably don't need to go into all mine for time's sake, but how does Yue then now take what I just said and apply that to dating and relationships? I'd love to make that transition, with what info I just gave her. What's that next step?
Well, so first we identified what value she brought to your life, right? The fact that she's able to listen, the fact that she's really fully present. Also that when she comes most alive is when she's performing, when she's doing this bigger thing. So what are ways in which you can actually do that on a date? Are we talking karaoke? Are we talking something
That's
You know,
true.
like, what are ways in which where you get to be? I'm going to do an open mic stand-up comedy thing. Yeah, something I've never done before, and you're going to come and watch me. And this is going to be one of our first dates. Or we're going to go to like an improv show and attempt to do something that I've never done before, you know, or go not trampolining, but you know, when you like swing on those what is it? I forgot what those things are, but
No
you know, in
idea.
the circus.
Oh, trapeze. Trapeze.
I was gonna say trampoline dodgeball has always been my dream date that no one's taken
Is it
me on.
really? Okay, we have that on record for anybody listening. Anybody looking for a
ideas are
broken
coming
ankle,
already.
just
But I would ask you, Yue, like, what are some ways that you love to show up? You love to perform. And from there we would dive into that more. And especially when you're asking multiple friends, they're going to give you a lot of different answers.
yeah.
I love this idea of like activities you could do, but I can also see people being like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to take the plunge and do an open mic night. But I mean,
But again, remember, it's catered to each
Right.
person. So someone else might say something that's much more subdued and be like, you know, you love to like read poetry one-on-one with someone. Okay, sweet. Then that's what we're going to do. It doesn't have to be something so overt. I think a lot of times we think like, again, what you said earlier, Yue, like play has to be entertaining for everyone. No, it doesn't. Play doesn't have to entertain anyone. I make ridiculous TikTok videos and people are like, oh, I love them. And I'm like, great, but they're not for you. I'm just making them for me. Like, this is my play. This is how I'm playing. And if you want to join the party, as Elizabeth Gilbert says, like a bunch of people joined the party for Eat, Pray, Love, but my next book, no one cared. So whatever, like I'm still doing this for me.
Julie, do you remember when we set up Shelby on those 2 dates and she and Matt, I think was his name, they crashed a party in Hayes Valley.
Yeah.
And I still remember that was a memorable date for her because they didn't plan it, but he kind of like, he's like, I think there's a party going on up there. Should we go check it out? And they went and they pretended they knew people there. And that was like a really great bonding moment. And that's like small play. That's like not grand gestures, but it's spontaneous.
Right.
But I think the problem for them was that overshadowed their connection.
Totally.
At the end of the day, that's like what they kept referring back to was this moment. So I think it can't overshadow your connection so much, or that you've just done a fun activity.
But if it's okay, even if it does overshadow it, because then again, you know that this is not the right. The play helps either way because it provides clarity, you know. And at the end of the day, like at the end of your year, I always ask people like, what do you remember? Your most productive moments of the year, or your most play, fun, joyful moment?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, why wouldn't we be focused on trading more play, fun, joyful moments, especially when we're dating? If we can't do that while we're working, at least do that while we're dating.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, like using the Shelby example, like she definitely remembered that and probably would try that with other people or knew that that was something that excited her. And then to your point, Jeff, it's like if that overshadows the person so much, then you're like, okay, maybe we didn't have the bond that we thought we did. And it's still a learning experience.
Well, it's still it's a win-win situation because you still had fun.
And this is going to sound a little nerdy, but I like to go nerdy sometimes. I had a colleague who used to work on the Mars rover, and she was like, they were all about always making it fail. Like their job was to constantly break it on the ground on Earth so that when it finally went out into, you know, Mars 1.5 million miles away, they would have known all the ways in which it was going to fail. And I think a lot of times when a date fails, you know, or a relationship doesn't work out, that we feel like we've lost. And it's like, no, it's just more information. It's just more information that's getting you closer to what you really want. And I say this a lot that like, I forgot who told me this, but someone said, you're either in a relationship and you're in the relationship until you learn the lesson that you need to learn. And then when you finish learning that lesson, you either decide, all right, now this relationship's over because it's done, right? And we celebrate that. Or I continue the relationship because I want to learn more lessons with this person. But either way, you're constantly growing. And I think we don't give ourselves credit for that. I think each time, like I was just with someone for a year and a half, I could see it as like a waste of time and just be like, oh, I'm starting back at square one, but I don't want to believe that. I don't. I want to believe that because I met this amazing person that had me grow in certain ways, now I'm a better person because of that, right? And I think we need to celebrate that more and stop like beating yourselves up and listening to our inner critic that's like, you're always going to be alone.
Right.
No, you're not. That's not true.
Send that person to time out. They should not be playing.
Right.
I mean, I think it's interesting. I'm just like thinking back to like dates that I've had too, and like like one of the ones that stands out with like one of my exes is that we just like took the cable car like 3 times, like back and forth, like all day for no reason. I mean, it cost a shit ton of money because those things aren't cheap, but it was like just like it wasn't like this like out of the box like crazy thing, but it was super fun and playful. And I'm curious, Jeff, because like I'm not the type of person that has like all these unique hobbies and like does all this like interesting stuff. And like actually I've had great dates that I've just gone to a bar and like talked to someone and it still felt playful to me. And I think I do have a playful side that comes out with certain people, especially. Like what else can be like a way that people can like show their playful side that's not necessarily like an activity?
Well, let me approach it this way. So my friend Desiree taught me this, and Desiree is someone that travels all over the world. She like lives in a van and just travels everywhere. And she learned that she could change her entire day by simply asking the question, how can it get any better than this? And she asked that with like curiosity, like, ooh, how can it get any better than this? Right. And I'll tell you by day today, right? Like I woke up this morning and then I made a TikTok video. Ooh, how can it get any better than this? Ooh, then I hopped on a podcast with this guy from London and we talked about play all day. Ooh, how can it get any better than this? Ooh, and then I got this really lovely Greek salad. How can it get any better than this? Now we're having this conversation.
It can't.
How can it get any better than this?
It's over.
It can't.
This is why we booked you at the end of the day.
The greatest moment of my life is right here. But I think that like doing that type of like momentous, curious way of showing up on the date and being open to what might happen and being open to saying yes and to stuff like, let's do this adventure. Let's do this adventure. Like think about when you've been in flow, right? When you travel and you're open to everything. You're like, yes, I will. Yes, I will have another mimosa. Yes, I will hop on this moped of this stranger. Yes, I will go to this deserted island to this party under the moonlight. And maybe you meet the love of your life because you were willing to say yes to all this stuff. So we have to be willing to embrace our curiosity and the experimentation of it, and also just be open to being vulnerable.
I actually think that is one of the best ways to approach playfulness on a date is pretending you're a tourist in your own city. I think that's like the best mindset. The shit I've bought on trips and paid for like Segway rides, I would never fucking do that in San Francisco. I'd make fun of tourists who take those Segway tours around the city and like buy magnets.
They're probably super fun.
I've actually done that, and I went on a date in one of those yellow moped things, and we drove up to McDonald's and we got something to eat, even though we couldn't reach the. But I also have something called the Ratchet Tour that I used to do in San Francisco. Oh, do you want to know the Ratchet Tour? So the Ratchet Tour is fascinating. We start off at Sweet Maple, where they have the $1 million bacon. I don't know if you guys know that.
For anyone not in SF, that is just like one of those like brunch spots that like the lines around the block.
I've actually never been
every day.
Yeah, I've never been.
Oh, but it has $1 million bacon. But if you can't go there, then go to the Sycamore, down in the Mission where they just have bottomless mimosas, right? So we have bottomless mimosas, hang out, and then we go to Dolores Park. We get some ice cream, and we go into the park and we look for the Coconut Man and the Truffle Man. And if y'all don't know, in San Francisco, there's a guy named the Truffle Man, beautiful black man, just this amazing man. And he carries around these weed truffles in a golden urn, in a bronze and golden urn, which he gives out to people. And then behind him is usually the Coconut Man, which is a guy that chops coconuts, has you drink half of it, and then you pour rum in the other half. And you just walk around, feeling a little high and having your coconut rum. And you just walk through the Mission trying out all the restaurants. And I call that the
basically just get shit-faced is basically what you're saying.
Get drugged up and shit-faced.
Hey, you know what? Those have been great dates I've had, so I'm not knocking you on that one.
I also like the acid trip where you just take some acid and end of story. Best date ever.
But bringing it back to PG World for anyone that doesn't want to do acid.
World. Fuck PG World.
But I think what I like this point about curiosity, because I don't think it needs to be this like extravagant adventure. I think that's great. Like go for it if you want to, by all means. But if you don't, just be curious even in the conversation with someone. Like you can literally be sitting at the same place and have a playful conversation and a not playful conversation. It doesn't need to be like some major adventure either.
And you can even have a conversation that changes your life, even if you are never going to be with that person again. Like, that's the possibility with each and every conversation that we have. That's exciting. Like, I love people. I love hanging out with people because there's always this moment where they might say something that sparks an idea that creates, like, I don't know, some video that makes me like love life more. Like, I don't know where this shift is going to happen. And I think when we show up with that like level of also gratitude that we have the opportunity to be on these dates. I mean, by the way, have you talked to some people that have been together for a really long time? They are not a lot of them are having that much fun. I mean, let's just be honest. Everyone thinks the grass is greener on each side, but I think, for a lot of people that are single, we're like, oh, I just need to be with somebody, but maybe you don't. Let's not force it just for the sake of forcing it. Like, you have the freedom right now to like connect with anybody in the world and go anywhere that you want. No one is holding you back. That is a luxury. So explore that because you don't know how long you're going to have.
For sure. Yeah, also, I think the side on the long-term relationship, because I did actually want to touch on that I think you could definitely bring play to that too, right? I think I read somewhere that one of the top reasons that people got divorced is they stopped dating each other and they stopped being curious about each other's lives. So I guess like from your perspective, like what are some ways that people could bring play even if they've been with their partner for 10 plus years or whatever that might be?
My recommendation is go have more adventures. Go have more adventures separately as well as together. Because when you have adventures separately, then you can actually come back and tell each other about that. Because a lot of times we're like, well, let me tell you about it. You've already told me that story. I've heard that story like a million times. Like, oh, do something new. But when you're willing to like, and this is part of also allowing each other in a relationship to do you, right? Do you, boo-boo. And you're like doing these adventures and coming back, you're growing from each and every one of those risks. So go have adventures together, create new experiences together, but also give each other the freedom to do that. Someone else watch the kids, go do your adventure, or go on like a trip in your town and pretend like you're a tourist. Like it's a lot of times it's just reframing small things that you want to do instead of just like mailing it in and being kind of lazy about it, being like, well, let's just watch Netflix again. Do we really want to watch Netflix again?
Speaking of Netflix, there's a really bad movie out there, but I actually like the premise. It's called Yes Day with Jennifer Garner. Have you seen it? It's a really bad movie, but the premise is she and her husband have been married for so long. They have a bunch of kids and things are getting like not fun. And there's a trend going around at school that there's a yes day where one day you say yes to everything. The parents say yes to the kids say yes to the parents, and they have this fantastic, really memorable day where nobody gets in trouble, but you just start expanding outside of your creative comfort zones. And I think that's something that couples can do too. What if you give each other a yes day once a month and then you just say yes and you just keep building upon the yes, yes, yes.
I love that. Or why don't you as a couple go get lost? Like go get lost in the city, hide your phones, or you can't pull out your phones and you got to get back some way. Like there's some adversity in each and every one of the adventures. Like when you go travel and you have those like horrible experiences of like, oh my gosh, and we couldn't get on that plane and couldn't get on that plane. Later on you talk about that with a certain level of like gravitas and like excitement. So I think that's the part is simply asking yourself and your partner each and every day, hey, when was the last adventure we went on? What type of adventure would you want to go on? And do you want to go on this adventure with me?
I like that.
Well, this has been so many insights in this whole thing. I mean, we're going to kick off some takeaways, but I think the biggest one for me is that, like we always say that just treat each date as getting to know a new person. I love this, like, expectations is the joy of, or the thief of joy. Is that the quote? Did I get that right? Okay. I think that is, like, something to live by. And I love this idea of, too, like, being grateful that, like, I am going to spend an hour plus with this person. Like, let's make it fun. Like, let's enjoy this time. And it really is a shift in mindset and how you approach things. And I think it's not like, you can't be deep because you're playful. It's not an either or. It's how can our play mesh together? And I think at the end of the day, really what we're trying to do here is form memories together. Whatever that might be. And like that could be an adventure. It could be an activity. It could be an inside joke. It could could be whatever it is, but that's how you bond to people, is when you have a shared experience. And when you just go on these dates and there is no shared experience, that's when it's meh, right? Jeff has something to add.
You just inspired something. You inspired this other thing. No, something you said was just resonated with me. So thank you so much, Julie. No, it reminds me of, there was this talk from Shia LaBeouf, and he was at Oxford Union, and he was talking about when people want selfies, and he knows when people want to take, when they're like just asking questions to build up for the selfie so they can ask the selfie question, and he knows when they are giving, where there's an exchange, and it's just like, hey, we're hanging out, we're connecting, and then all of a sudden we decide, hey, let's take a selfie. Maybe we'll, maybe we won't, right? And I think we have to be aware, even with ourselves, when we're in dates, what do we do? Are we just thinking about what we can get?
Interesting.
Or are we thinking about what we can give? And how, even if this date doesn't end up to be the love of your life, how you can also impact that person right now in that conversation. There's something that you might spark with them so that they actually realize the thing that makes them come most alive. Like, again, that's part of the adventure. That's part of being in the moment, instead of being like, when we're in the take mode, we're like, okay, how much do you make? Like,
what are you giving me?
What does your 401k sound like? Like, we can feel it. We can feel when the person is taking, feel it. And that is what it makes it like, like, what do you want from me? And when we're having more shared humanity, which I'm really hoping we have in the post-pandemic world, we see more people as like human beings and not as just something that is filling a role for me.
You just triggered my last takeaway, is like, not just looking at like dates as an adventure, but your whole dating journey as an adventure. Like, I think if you can reframe it and think about, like, I think that's like so key. Like, instead of like a date not working out, it's like, okay, who's next? What's right around the corner? Like, that curiosity of not just the dates and the people, but your own dating life, and looking at it as like, a play experience in itself. What a better mindset than being like, oh, another person ghosted me. Like, how is that going to really help you?
Right. And simply asking the question when someone does ghost you, something like that, asking, how can it get any better than this? And being curious about it and see what happens, because it's going to get better.
Get worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, it can, but
it could.
But it'll be really fun. It'll be really fun.
But let's not focus on the worst case scenario.
About the positive.
Right. Let's be like, let's
they ghost you twice. How can it get better than this?
Like, that guy only had one eye. Okay, whatever.
Right. Let's get curious. Let's cover your one eye. It's a game. Yeah, make a game. I love it. We're riffing. We get it now. We're play experts now. My biggest takeaway is you inspired me for this, Jeff. And feel free to take this for yourself too. Play is bring a pebble to the river. All you need to do is bring the pebble and you throw it in the river, and you don't know what ripple effect it's going to cause. You don't know which way the pebble will go, but all you need to do is bring the pebble. We don't need to know the big picture of how it's going to affect the river. You just have to bring that one thing to the table. So I like this idea because it also goes into, this analogy is really synonymous with what we've been talking about, is this yes and. We keep building. And the best times I've had on dates and with my current partner is when we keep saying, should we try it? Yes. Should we do that? Yes. Should we do this? Like, should we go here? Let's do it. And it becomes so fun, and you just keep adding and building on top of each other's requests and questions. And that river just keeps flowing, and the ripples keep getting bigger and bigger to bigger waves. And that's how I see play. But you just need to bring in that one little pebble. Ooh. Maybe it's a question, maybe it's an activity, and just see where it goes.
And I love when Yue said that. She said it with a little mischief. Should we try it? Should we? And then the energy, do you feel the energy? Like, you can feel it, right? We know it. I think a lot of times we ignore it because we're like trying to be normal. And it's like, no, all of the possibilities are in the weird. You know, Will Smith, what it says this, on the opposite side of fear is like everything you've always wanted. And it's just like, yo, so then let's go there. Let's go to that deep end of the pool and just see what happens.
I think tone can be playful. I mean, I think that's like at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be. I love this takeaway of the pebble because it's like what we're saying is, I think sometimes we get in our heads that play needs to be this like huge activity. And it's like a lot of pressure, but it just needs to be something small that we see the reaction. And if we both jive from it, and then it will just naturally happen. It doesn't need to be like you coming to a date with a deck of cards ready to go. Like if it goes that way, great. You know,
I'm going to be a magician. Let me fan for you.
Exactly.
No, because and what you said also is like play is just you being you. It's you being you.
You wearing your Lego bow tie is a great example of a pebble, because if you did that on a date, it might have inspired me to bring my own bow tie, which is actually my dog's bow tie. And then we would have a conversation about that. Maybe we bring our bow ties and we wear it to Whole Foods and then we barter our bow ties for our oranges. I don't know.
Right. Or someone that doesn't want to bring a bow tie, they could see the bow tie and they'd be like, oh, I used to play with Legos. And then it goes like into another conversation. It could just never know. Spiral in so many ripple effects in different directions.
Effect. I love that a lot. I just love this idea of keeping things playful. And that doesn't mean keeping things surface level or superficial. It just means infusing the fun back into dating. I think it's about time. Dating should be fun.
Right. Especially on the early stages, like before shit gets difficult. Like, you know, if it's not fun then, how is it ever going to be fun?
And I love this quote from Elizabeth Gilbert.
How many quotes do you have in your repertoire? I'm just
they're all in my head.
I've counted.
You're not even like reading them. That's the best part.
I've counted 12 already in this episode. Like,
what's crazy was I was on a podcast once where I had to be Elizabeth Gilbert. You had to play a character. That was the podcast, and mine so I had to memorize all of her work. So like now it's just like embedded in my head. But the one that I love is like personal transformation doesn't happen until you get tired of your own BS, like your own bullshit. And it's just like, what is the bullshit that you're telling yourself? Like, what is the limiting belief that is holding you back? What's the old story? Like one of my old stories was I was the guy that a woman would date right before she got married.
You're the fluffer.
That's
You're
what we
the
call
relationship fluffer.
Oh, the fluffer, right. So there's even a term for it, right? And why do I tell that story? Because it actually benefits me. It gives me the benefit of not having to like continue to go out there. And it also makes me look good, right? It makes me look like the hero in my own story instead of just confronting them and be like, is that really true? Like, is that the thing? Like, why am I telling the story to limit myself from what is possible? And I think we a lot of times say those limiting beliefs because we're just scared. We're just scared we're going to get hurt. And guess what? You are. But also, you also are going to find such love and adventure and all of the joy. And like, that's living. It's both. It's all the sadness, all the angry, all the grief, all the fulfillment, and all the play, all wrapped together like a roller coaster. And that's so much more enjoyable than just, binge watching Netflix till you die. So let's not, I'm just saying, I love Netflix, but
I love this roller coaster analogy too, because sometimes like when you're in the down piece, it can only go up, right? That's what we've been saying. So there's always like something new around the corner if you think about things in this like curiosity, playful mindset.
So Jeff Harry, if people want to find out more about you and your offerings and rediscover your play, how can they find you?
Not play parties, we'll clarify that.
You never know. Hey,
different type of play party.
I don't get down like that. But I mean,
it better not be a limiting belief of yours. You can do it if you want to. I
got to be open. You're absolutely right. Back to San Francisco. Power change. Yeah, so you can find me making my ridiculous videos at the handle Jeff Harry Plays, JeffHarryPlays. And that's TikTok, Instagram, all of them, Medium, all of them. And then you can go to my website, rediscoveryourplay.com. And when you go to it, there's a Let's Play button. And if you click the Let's Play button, I have all these play experiments you can do. And then you can hop on a phone call with me and we can figure out how you can rediscover how dope you are by playing.
I feel like you might be getting a lot of calls.
Yeah. You got 2 calls coming right after this.
We're going to hang up and then we're going to be like clicking that button. Hey, remember us from 5 minutes ago? Okay.
Oh, this was awesome.
Thanks so much for being on our show, for playing with us, letting us play with you. We're going to have you back, and you can play with me anytime you want. I'm just going to put it out there.
That sounds so dirty. Just putting that out there.
And I meant it for it to sound dirty. All right, just saying. Just saying. Whenever you're back.
Let me just adjust these glasses.
If anyone's looking for an opening line to show their playfulness, there you go.
Oh, at some point we have to do Julie's thing.
Yeah, that could be a bonus episode.
We got to pay more for that.
You got our business all figured out too.
There we go.
How to upgrade people. So if for anybody listening to this, obviously we'll link all of Jeff's stuff in our show notes. But for us to get fabulous guests like Jeff, please give us a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts. It really helps us get awesome guests, get awesome content, and create even better episodes for you all. So just a simple click on 5 stars and like a quick line about how awesome we are and how playful we are. How you want to play with us. It will suffice. And I guess we'll just wrap this up. I don't want this to end, but play never ends. So we'll continue this
we'll be back
other
again.
ways. We play with Jeff quite a bit on Instagram in our DMs. So
She just keeps saying things.
Continue,
she keeps saying things, but it just like digs a deeper hole.
My mind is going in all certain ways that it's going back to the earlier part of our conversation.
And it all circles back. It just circles back.
It all circles back.
It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. Before we get in trouble, let's wrap this up. Stay dateable.